need a warning label on this podcast. I'm not gonna lie to you. Where we might go with this podcast, it might be somewhere. I don't know.
I don't know either.
But yeah, I'm here with my boy Jason right here. Jason, how did we meet, bro?
Well, I believe it was probably because you were at the smoke shop, and I went to the smoke shop a lot.
And yeah, you always had some crazy ass shit to tell me.
Every single day, something crazy happened.
Something new. And that's why I was like, I need to get this dude on the podcast because you have like a very chaotic life, but you have some kind of blissful order in it at the same time.
Well, like I moved from Arkansas to College Station, and there for a long time I didn't really know a lot of people in this town that I actually like saw on a daily basis or even like a weekly basis, and it would be a long time in between before I ran back into somebody. But I went to the smoke shop like every day, so it's like whenever I had some shit to tell to somebody, it's like I would just drop that shit on you because I mean you were seen more often, I guess.
I mean, I'm always there.
You were a regular.
I like talking to people too. So I mean, you were my regular. So I mean, it's just usually how it works. But no, wait. So yeah, we talked about this last time you were over here too. Your why you moved to Texas story.
Oh shit.
You wanna start with that?
I guess so. So it was like Snowmageddon, like 2021. It's like right after I graduated high school, I'd went through like a bad breakup that was probably the best decision of my life. But I'd gotten on Tinder, and a little bit earlier in the year I'd went on a road trip and matched with this girl that went to Texas A&M. And when I'd gotten on Tinder, I get on there, and next thing you know, me and the girl are FaceTiming, and she's like, "You should just come to A&M and move into my dorm room." And I'm just like, "Okay." I'll be there tomorrow.
Oh my god.
And she's like, "No, you won't." And at first I was kind of playing, but then I had a light bulb moment, and I was like, what do I have to lose? What could I gain? At the very least, there's a good story that can come out of this. So I told my parents I was going on a 2-week vacation, and I never came back.
You been in College Station since?
Yeah, I mean, I went back for like 3 days for Christmas, but 2 of those days were driving.
I mean, yeah, Arkansas.
But it was nice. Well, the driving.
The actual getting down here.
Yeah.
And like when you landed down here, like what was it?
Well, the first 3 days were like really pretty chill. I didn't know that she wasn't actually gonna be here when I got here because she'd went back home to see her parents that weekend, and she like failed to mention to tell me that, so I ended up sleeping in my truck in a Target parking lot for like 2 nights. But it was really cool because I found this little teddy bear named Nelson, and it was one of those like monumental moments because Nelson was all dirty, missing an eye. So I took him inside, gave dude a bath, found him an extra eye, and I put him up in the oh shit handle of my truck. And like from that moment on, it was like, okay, well, like at least I got like a passenger buddy. Like I didn't feel as alone because I had Nelson.
Wait, so was it like
It was like just like a little stuffed bear.
Oh no, I'm thinking of the bear off Lotso off Toy Story 4. It was kind of like that shit a little bit.
Honestly, I don't.
You never seen Toy Story 4?
I haven't.
Okay, was it like your Ted basically?
It was kind of like a Ted.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, that's better.
Like it would just be like some like I'd be driving down the road, and if I saw some crazy shit, like just to keep myself awake, I would scream, "Did you see that shit, Nelson?" And it would just like, but
or Wilson, like in like Castaway.
Yeah, kind of like Wilson, but Nelson.
And like I see, like you far away from home and stuff like that.
Yeah,
so
because like at first I didn't know anybody, and it's like you can't just like walk up to people in the grocery store anymore. People think you're Ted Bundy.
Yeah,
I mean,
sometimes depends on how you walk up to them. I guess.
I guess so. I don't know. I don't know. People be like shopping for groceries in like that stealth mode. They'd be looking around like nobody try to talk to me.
They walk around with headphones in and stuff like that.
No, they put headphones on. They'll even walk around like reading a book. Like
I've seen that. That is kind of.
It's dangerous.
I've seen people read books at the gym too.
Like how you gonna read a book at the gym?
Like between sets.
Like if you can't text and drive, how can you read and walk?
Some people can read and walk. I don't know. I mean,
Well, some people can text and drive.
that
but
is true.
We got the law for those who can't.
But reading and walking is a little different, though. I mean, you can't see. I mean, I wouldn't say it's the safest thing to do.
The streets are public.
It is very
The
true.
sidewalks are too. So are the roads. I mean, like I feel like they're just picking and choosing. I mean, I don't know.
So you think pedestrians have more rights than drivers at this point? Actually, technically, pedestrians do have more rights
They
than
do,
drivers.
because like we have to yield to them, even if they ain't got a walking light. They could walk out into the road.
Oh, people still don't. People don't no more, bro. I mean, it depends. You might get a cool person, but do people yield for you?
I mean, I don't always yield for people, so
That is very true.
I don't expect them to.
I threw a rock at a lady's car because of that. Well, because I'm actually walking through the. All right, case point. All right. I'm walking through the. If you're walking through the intersection, right, and I'm already in the intersection, and someone turns left in front of you while I'm in the intersection, that's their fault, right?
Yeah.
All right. So I was gonna let it go, right? Right. So I just went. I was like, "Hey, lady, like, don't do that to people." You know what I'm saying? All right. And she was like, "Okay, well, you could watch where you're going." I was like, "Okay, all right." Now I picked up a rock and threw it at a car. I was like, "Yeah, come on now. I couldn't just let you say that shit. Like, you almost hit me. You know what I'm saying?"
Yeah, there's like a common theme going on in America right now of people who've just like never had anything bad happen to them because of their bad actions. Like I noticed that there's like a lot of people who never like got their like ass beat as children. Like they just like got told no, or you're a bad kid, or I guess some people's parents never did anything. I don't really know, but now they're like walking around and they're like the worst humans in the world.
Yeah.
And like don't get me wrong, like
There's some horrible humans.
I'm not saying that child abuse is okay either, but what I am saying is like
You should discipline your kids.
as a young kid, if they're out there like acting out, like you might pop that kid so somebody else doesn't beat their ass in the alley one day.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
I've had that revelation before too when we were at the duplex and I think my roommate told me that they had to be like 10 or 11, something like that, and they were taking our bikes off the back porch.
Damn.
Yeah, and for me it was like a thing of like, where are y'all's parents, dog? You know, and then if I'm thinking like if it wasn't me in here, and it was some racist old white dude, you know, you might not be alive, kid.
No.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, like real talk. You know. So I've seen that before too. I think it's just a sense of. I think there is a big sense of entitlement that goes around for people, certain people. I won't say everyone, but I think that it's growing
In general.
Mm-hmm.
It's just getting worse and worse. But also, it's like the government that's doing it too, because you got all these like. It's like there's too many chiefs and not enough Indians these days. Like you got too many politicians out there promising too many different people so many different things, and now it's like you got one country that's divided into like 5 different sections. And nobody agrees with each other, when in reality we should have like one common goal, or at least like 2 common goals. Like we should like find some type of common ground, but like really and truly the news is owned, and
I'd like to think that there's more people who just want to take care of their own and go home and take care of their family. You know what I'm saying? I like to think that. But sometimes I do think the same thing that you're saying, in that there are a lot of different. That's why I do this podcast.
Yeah.
It's because there's so many different perspectives on stuff, and like so many different ways of people think and see the world, that you can't put anybody into one box. You can't even put America into a box. You can put it into a box in some weird kind of category. I wouldn't even say weird, but I would say for the most part, the majority. I like I said, I like to believe that the majority of people are just don't even really care too much about politics as long as their taxes go to something that actually matters for the people. You know what I mean?
No, for sure.
And
it's like don't get me wrong, like I don't mind like taxes like being like paid out for like like roads and like certain government programs.
schools.
But here's my thing. When the government's sending $10 billion to the Ukraine, and when they get audited, they're just like, "Oh, we just gave them 10 billion." That's their job to figure out what to do with.
Mm-hmm.
What people don't realize is like somebody in America's taking like a 10% cut for signing that check.
Well,
Like,
you gotta keep in mind how like I think that's an American thing is that the world is bigger than just us. You know what I mean?
yeah.
And that there's so many factors that go into not only our own how we live over here, like things that happen in other countries affect how we live over here. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
So
for
it's
sure.
something that we should definitely care about. You know?
Oh, definitely. Well, I mean, if you think about it, $1 billion worth of tax money. Think
Mhm.
about that. Like, that's what's being wasted. Like, at a bare minimum, like in that one transaction. Think about how much $1 billion can do.
A lot. What would you do with $1 billion?
What would I do with $1 billion? Like the selfless, like good person answer or the true answer?
All the above.
If I had $1 billion, I would walk around with like the biggest roll of $100 bills that I could fit in my pockets, and every time that somebody walked up to me that I didn't want to talk to, I would pay them $100 to walk the fuck away.
It's actually not a bad idea.
That's the first thing, because time is the most valuable thing. So once you got $1 billion, you can buy all your time back. But then, at the same time, it's got to be like a one-time thing, because I also don't want everybody always coming up to me like, "Hey, let me get $100," because then I'm gonna be pissed.
Exactly, because now you're the $100 guy.
I'm the $100 guy. But I mean, at the same time though, if I had $1 billion, I'd never run out.
So what's the true answer then?
Definitely a Gulfstream.
A Gulfstream?
Yeah, like the big, yeah, like the big jets.
Oh, okay. I'm thinking of like you buying like a part of the ocean.
No.
Okay.
Like one of those like big jets, but like turn it into like a house on the inside.
Huh.
And then just like
Why a jet though?
$1 billion.
I mean, fair.
I don't know.
Just because you can have a jet, that's your house.
Actually, no, I take that back. If I had $1 billion, I'd probably like, I'd probably buy like 500 acres and build like 100 houses on it,
Mm-hmm.
and then just like build a community that's only open to like people who are like-minded people, and not like-minded in like a culty kind of way, but more of like a like self-sustain the land and like make like a good community.
It's kind of like a modern Amish.
Kind of like a modern Amish, more so like a modern group of people who don't necessarily
I say modern Amish. There's still Amish people around. Like,
yeah.
So
Like a modern group of people that don't really believe in what the government's out there doing. Like, I think that public school's the stupidest shit ever. Like, there's been a scientific research thing done where they took, like, a group of 100 children out of a classroom, and at the age of, like, 5, 80% of the children were considered geniuses. They came back at the age of 10, and only half of that number were geniuses. By the time they were in high school, it was like 4%. So I'm kind of like on the notion that public school literally teaches people to not be creative, and it almost like hardwires the creative genius out of everyone's brain and turns them into an institutional type worker.
Yes, I will honestly get on board with you with that one. I'd say it's very different for everybody. Everybody has their own experience with it. I would say that from what you're saying, I can firsthand give examples of why I agree with you on that one. Especially when it came from me, it was always writing essays because I always had to structure an essay within what they wanted me to say, and not what I actually interpreted,
Yeah.
Like I have to, like, there's a formal way to write, which I understand, you know what I mean? But to a degree, the way I've read academic journals are nothing in the way that I was taught to write. You know what I mean?
Yeah, honestly, I haven't used a single thing I've learned in high school and college.
No.
Not a single thing.
Yeah, no. I would say there's little things like maybe some history. I would say I learned more. I learned way more in college than I did in high school.
I got to retake history. I dropped out.
Hey, man, I did too. Hey, you're right there with you, bro.
Yeah, no, but the reason I dropped out of the history class, though, is because the woman was teaching us, like, how Christopher Columbus was a good person. And I'm just over here, like I understand it in, like, elementary and middle school. Like, I thought they was behind. I thought they was, like, the ignorant ones. But now that I'm over here paying tuition to learn shit the real way, and this bitch lying to me, now it's like I'm almost upset. It's like y'all making me learn this shit wrong twice. But now
I'm actually paying more for it.
Now I'm paying to do it. Like, so I asked a few challenging questions, and she gave me a few bullshit answer and spin arounds.
Like what? Like what was the question you asked?
Well, I was just like, basically like, so you're saying that he was a good person, and the teacher just told me, well, the comparison on what a good person was a lot different back then. And I'm just like, ma'am, he committed genocide. He's not a good person. But it was almost like she was riding his dick, and it, like, made me mad, because she's, like, over here refusing to say that he was a monster. And I'm just like, just to prove a point, I told her, I was like, well, I will not be back. I'm dropping your class just because I don't think I'm going to learn anything from you. And I never went back. But I felt good about it. And honestly, I wanted to drop one class anyways because I had a big load. But I wanted a justified reason to tell my parents.
I mean, it's fair enough, honestly. You told your parents that she said Columbus was a good dude?
Yeah.
What'd your parents say?
They didn't really care. They were just like, whatever. Just don't fuck your shit up.
Hey.
Try.
Hey, man. Aren't we all? Some try harder than others.
You know, some do. Some do. I try best after 1 p.m. I'm still waking up.
What, so when you, trust me, like, I see it in your eyes.
Yeah.
We still getting there slowly but surely. But yeah, no, before I asked you a question off air, we were talking about relationships. And the videos we were watching and what I was telling you earlier, and then just putting together our own experiences and stuff like that. What would you say for an average dude who needs a little bit of guidance when it comes to that kind of stuff? I've been trying to figure out a good way to say this. I want to hear what you have to say.
Well, number one, find the best version of yourself before you try to find anybody else.
Ding.
So it's like, if you look in the mirror every day, or you got all this, like, these confidence issues, because everybody has confidence issues in some sort of manner, and sometimes it comes out through too much confidence because people overcompensate with confidence because they don't have it. But the best thing that you could do is turn yourself into someone that you can fall in love with. And once you do that, then you'll be able to be yourself naturally around other people, and you won't let that person turn you into somebody. Because if you don't love yourself, then you're going to become someone that you think someone else will love, and then you'll lose yourself in the process. So number one, become someone that you can love. Now, whether that's like, think about what you want to look like and, try to make yourself the closest to that. Think about how you want to act and do that. Whether it's you want to be a good person, pick up a piece of trash every time you see it and throw it away, or just something simple. But build up that good energy, that good vibration, that good headspace. And it's after you do that, everything else is going to fall into place. It's not necessarily what you say or who you say it to, it's how you say it. And sometimes it's not even the tone in your voice, it's the way that your body's glowing, the way that you're looking, the way that your eyes are glowing. And you can't do that shit consciously. It's going to happen subconsciously because you're in a place in your life where it's ready to happen. That's the best natural way that I could say relationship wise. Now there's a non-relationship way to go about things.
I think that's the biggest crux of today, is that even for myself having to grow through situations and stuff like that, you got to figure out what it is you want ultimately. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, no, you do. And you also got to go through the trial and errors, and you got to
a lot of trial and errors.
A lot of trial and errors.
It happens though. I think the biggest thing is to not be ashamed of it.
Oh, you can definitely be ashamed of
something. Oh
things.
no, trust me. I was about to say there's some top 3 experiences that I would not go back to. Right now, I'd just say the top 2. The top 1, like I said earlier, I ain't going back to jail. I ain't doing that shit again. Right?
Yeah.
It's not fun.
Never have sex on psychedelics.
Why not?
Well,
from your perspective, because I ain't never done no shit like that.
Well, from my perspective, now, this was at an undisclosed place at an undisclosed time, but 1 minute, y'all are fooling around, doing the thing, having fun. Next minute, your fingers in their butt.
Whoa.
And then y'all are both staring at each other how did we get here? And it's just really odd. And plus the whole blood circulation thing in your body's really fucked up.
Kind of off.
Yeah, no, so it's 1 minute you're on down there.
Mm-hmm.
And then you look down and you're not, and then 5 seconds later you look down and you are, and you're your whole body's tripping.
Huh.
So it's
and your perspective's altered too.
Your perspective is way altered, and you're two different people with two differently altered perspectives. So it's even if you in the same headspace at the beginning, somewhere halfway through y'all could both be at different headspaces, and it can go way wrong. Worst mistake. 4th worst mistake I've made.
4th?
Yeah.
What was the 5th?
Oof. Leaving my journal at home.
Oh. When you had other people at home?
Yeah.
How'd that, no, I'm guessing it didn't turn out well. That's also invasive.
It is invasive, but at the same time, everyone has their own definition of invasive, so.
That is very true.
I
think that's the biggest thing. Another thing I look at too is with relationships too, especially labels, right?
Mm-hmm.
People are I don't want to put a label on stuff. It was well, labels are how we know what things are. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're right.
You know what I'm saying?
You're right.
So, I don't know. There's a reason we have a dictionary. So, I get everyone has their own definition of what things are, but at the same time, there is a true definition of what things are.
Well, at the same time, I think that the best thing that people can be is in a good communicative state.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, labels or like something, but like you shouldn't become like boyfriend and girlfriend until like you're like ready. Like I would give it like 2 to 3 months, 4 months, 5 months at least. Like spend like at least 2 months becoming friends.
Mm-hmm.
Like, cause while you friends, you still got that window like that you can jump out of and get away. Like if anything happens throughout that 2 month period
Mm.
that you don't like, you could just be like, oh well, you know, it was fun while it lasted. But once you're dating, there's the whole like
You're in it.
you're in it. Like you got some of my stuff, I got some of your stuff. I might know your parents, you might know my parents.
Mm-hmm.
Shit just gets messy, and then you got to worry about people keying your car. Luckily, that only happened to me once. But I also got 4 tires slashed, some subs stolen, and my cell phone. Shit gets expensive.
And illegal. Jay, what?
And the cashews in my car.
Not the
It was like a
cashews.
half-empty bag. I cried over that shit because I was drunk and couldn't get out of there because my tires didn't have air.
And you couldn't eat nothing too because you had no cashews.
It was fucked.
What flavor cashews were they?
Salted.
God damn.
I know.
Hey, we better for it now though, aren't we?
Honestly, I don't know.
That's
That's
I can't be mad at you for giving me the honest answer.
that's one of the experiences in life that I don't really know if I learned anything from. It was a really odd night. It was senior year, and we were at a party, and there was this really cute lesbian girl that wanted me to go for a ride with her in a convertible Mustang, which I should have known. Like, something was a little odd, because I ain't never seen her ride around with a dude before. But you know what? I've always had a thing for unavailable women. And so I get in the car, and we go back and, like, you know, do the whole thing. And she goes to drive me back, and I'm like, oh, well, you don't have to pull in the driveway because I don't want you to have to back out in the dark, because she was kind of drunk, too. And I walk up to my car and I sit down in it, and I'm just like, whew, it's a little breezy in here. Did I roll the windows down? And the back glass was busted, and everything was stolen out. And then I'm like, ooh.
So you got set up basically.
I'm pretty sure I got set up by some lesbians. They're gangsters, bro.
But what did you do for this to happen?
I guess I just looked a little too eager at the time. You gotta keep your gangster face on. You gotta.
Yeah, that is true. People can spot out a mark easily.
Yeah. Which that was really messed up, because I feel like I laid it down really good, and like I think that girl's bisexual now, but
I mean, you got something out of it. So
Wait,
you also got
well,
your shit
well,
slashed.
shit, I basically paid $1,400 for some pussy, so it wasn't worth it in that aspect.
in the moment, no. But did we learn a lesson though? Kind of.
Yeah.
And we gotta.
Never fully trust a girl.
Unless you're married.
Then definitely don't. Nah.
I would say there's a different level of trust for each relationship. However, being like you just said, I think that's the biggest thing too. Is you gotta keep your gangster face on.
No, that's like you just gotta like keep a code and stick with it. You can't be too wishy-washy all the time. You gotta come up with like what's gonna happen when something happens.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're consistent enough with it, then people won't fuck with you. You know, people can't just like think like, oh, well, they won't do that to me, or they'll just be like,
they won't do me like that.
You know, like you want to be the person that they're like, ah, don't fuck with him. He'll
Mhm.
fuck you up.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, once you get to that place, then you could be the nicest motherfucker in the world, because nobody ever fucks with you.
So you've been an idealist before, in the sense that you think that, not idealist, but like a naive kind of person.
Oh, I've been hella naive,
Mm-hmm.
but I thought I was the smartest person the whole time.
You know.
It's crazy.
It is crazy. But that's life, though, bro. It's growth.
That is life.
Wait, but growing up Southern Baptist, how much did you get How much did you take away from that growing up, and then like, do you still like have any influence from that too as well?
Mm. Well, like my favorite thing was smoking pot in the parking lot.
It's Baptist church, honestly. I mean, shit.
But if I had to be
Sorry,
completely
Baptist
truthful,
churches.
I would say no on the Southern Baptist side. But I am like kind
Yeah,
of non-denominational in a way, like like I think that there's a God, and I think that there are a lot of things going on, and I believe that Jesus was a real person, and so were a lot of the apostles and all that stuff. I want to kind of come up with my own storybook so I can understand it a little bit better.
understand how the world works for you.
Not necessarily like for me, but like like buy like the history books, because I've been looking like around, and there's like a lot of like geographical and like historical knowledge books about like people in the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
So like if there's extra new information that's like scientific information, you could put that with like other information and come up with your own ideas.
That's what I've been doing too. I'm more on the philosophy side though, of like seeing the world on like the both physical and spiritual plane.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Um, like I was big on Socrates. That's why I do the podcast. Like just asking questions about people's perspective and what they believe. You know what I mean?
Oh, for sure. No, like College Station has taught me a lot.
How so?
Like whenever I got here, I came here from a town of like 2,000 people. I'd never seen anything, done anything. Like honestly, like
So 2,000 to 100,000 is.
I'd never been with a girl who I thought was like maybe more than like a 5 or a 6, because I don't even. Well, when there's only 2,000 people in your town, and 100 people in your class, and then like, you know, cut that down into half of those people are probably the same sex as you, so you only got 60 people in the dating pool in your area. So out of that 60 people, only maybe 10 of them are your type, and out of those 10, only 5 of them think that you're good looking. And out of that 5, 3 of them are taken, so you got like 2 people to pick from. So once you fuck one and break their heart, you got 1 person left. And they're both 6s. So it's like there's nothing to get excited about. You got to get in your car and drive 60 miles with a Trojan and a Rhino 69 pill from the gas station. Because after driving that far, you can't risk not getting it up. Like, and it's like I ain't even got a problem, but it's like, what if I get one when I get there? Like shit, I can't waste all this gas. So, I mean, it was hard back then.
So when you got to a bigger place, it was more like, oh, well, shit.
Dude, honestly, like, I thank my lucky stars every day that I never caught anything. Like, that's probably my greatest accomplishment in life.
I'm proud of you, Jason.
Knock on wood.
It's hardwood too, you know.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's nice.
You know.
But like, I went from like a body count of 4 to one that I'm not gonna disclose on the open air.
Mm-hmm.
But like it was bad. Like every day, it was like I had to be with somebody different.
Mm-hmm.
But then I realized, I was like, statistically speaking, if I keep on doing this, something bad is gonna happen. Like, I'm either gonna have a kid, or somebody's gonna like murder me, or I'm accidentally gonna like come across somebody that's like a catfish. or like somebody with a dick.
I mean, it is 2024.
It is.
So, you got to be on your P's and Q's out here.
Yeah.
Like, for real.
So like I'm just like, okay, well I need to like slow down a little bit, be a little bit more careful, figure out like what I'm doing, like where I want to go. And after like a 2 year like hoe phase, I call it like a dro phase because there was like a lot of drugs and hoes. It's kind of like rock and roll, sex, drugs, and rock and roll without the rock and roll.
What music were you listening to at the time?
I mean, we were listening to rock and roll, but we weren't really playing it. But I did a lot of karaoke. But for me to do the karaoke, I had to do like a lot of drugs with it. So I was doing like a lot of cocaine,
And then
lots of like Adderall, like methamphetamines,
whoa.
ketamine, like
So the list is endless.
I would even microdose mushrooms at the same time as doing all of that stuff. Like if I wasn't on like 3 or 4 different things, I wasn't ready to go out and party. Cause like I wanted to be the livest one there, and it's almost like I felt like a scientist at one point because I couldn't just take one drug. Cause if I took one drug, I would be too fucked up. I would have to take 2 other ones to balance out that one. So it's like I would take this one to give me like a lot of energy. But then, like, that one would give me a lot of anxiety, so I would take this to cancel out the anxiety, but it would make me a little tired. So then I would mix this one in there to make that go away, and then I'd take a couple shrooms, because if you throw that in there with all of that, then, like, everything gets a little floaty and you'll see some things.
I mean, yeah.
But
Shrooms are
they
very
won't
floaty.
kick in all the way because of all the other stuff you took, so it just enhances everything. So then, like, I don't know. It's a miracle that I made it through that. But it was fun, and I don't regret a single thing that I did.
I was about to ask you, you take it all back, would you? And do something different?
No.
Hmm.
No, honestly. And, you know, I wouldn't say that I've had too many negative things come from that period of my life either. Like, as far as, like brain side effects and like memory loss or anything like that. Like I'm after having conversations with people in the grocery store and like walking around town, like not to sound narcissistic, but I wouldn't trade my brain for theirs, and I know that they've never done a lot of the drugs that I have. So
I wouldn't even say that's narcissistic, bro. That's just kind of like a thing of being grateful for who you are. Or and your experiences.
well, you know, like you got to think about it like this too. Everybody tries to like grade people on the same level, but
Like you were talking about with school earlier.
with the school earlier, like with the kids, it was the creative kids, the kids who hadn't conformed, that were still considered geniuses.
Mm-hmm.
Well, shit, buddy, I've been high since I was 12 years old. I never conformed. And I'm not saying that I'm a genius, but I'm saying, like,
You figured something out
I feel like I figured something out.
for
and
yourself.
Not necessarily, it's not necessarily that I figured something out, but it's like I feel like that there's a switch inside my brain somewhere that they never flipped because I was high the day they tried to.
Oh, serious? No. This is so unserious. But no, I just lost what I was about to say, dog. Oh man. No, I had a there was a kid in my class who was kind of like that. He was like, when we talked about like non-conforming, like not sitting down or like not like wouldn't like, I wouldn't say wouldn't listen to the teacher, but like literally did his own thing.
Mm-hmm.
This kid always did his own thing, right? He had a twin brother. If anybody went to high school with me and know, you probably know who I'm talking about. But this dude was so smart though.
Mm-hmm.
Like his aloofness would make you think he wasn't, right? He got a 50 on a test, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because he didn't know there was a backside to it.
Damn.
So he got the whole front side that he did it right. If that wasn't just the biggest like example for how his brain works,
Yeah.
it's just kind of
Where's he now?
He married and got kids.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he's doing good. I would hope. I'm pretty sure.
I don't know if that's smart or not.
What?
I was just making a joke.
No. I don't know why it's necessarily smart, but like you said, genius. You know what I'm saying?
No, for sure, genius.
You know, like not necessarily like. I think there's a difference. You know, because a lot of people are smart nowadays.
I feel like there's like a version of smart for every different person too, because not everyone's meant to do the same thing.
Exactly. Which is what you're talking about with like school and stuff. You know,
Yeah.
everybody gets graded on the same scale when not everybody does the same thing.
Well, it's like, for example, like a person that enjoys like tinkering on machines and fixing things wouldn't enjoy the same thing that a pro tennis player enjoys. You know, like, because,
Or
you know, one of them's a person who enjoys getting their hands dirty, and the other person's a person who probably gets manicures.
mm-hmm.
And they probably have completely different hobbies, completely different types of friends, which means all of the environmental factors that influence what they want in their lives are going to be completely different. Like, but it's
Especially
like,
when you grow up too.
but it's crazy how a lot of the things that make a person aren't even their choice. It's like the people around them.
That's something I talked about on the podcast before too. Is that you never really? Do you think you ever really? You know the saying, the apple never falls far from the tree.
I don't know. I know a couple people that got hit by the lawnmower.
I know it's a lawnmower in the garden, dog.
Weed whacker, whatever you want to call it.
And it went far away from the tree.
It just got busted the fuck up.
That's just life, though. Sometimes the apple falls and gets busted up.
It do. But where were you going with that?
I was about to say, do you ever think that you ever really, not that you ever never escape being your parents, but do you think that you ever get away from who you are because of your parents, because they're who made you?
That is a good question, and I've been working on that over a period of time, because I hope you're not watching right now. But I've got like some serious mommy issues, like.
I mean, it happens.
Yeah.
I can say I've gone through my fair share. That's why I recommend people going. I recommend people actually getting to the crux of their problems and like actually getting through their stuff.
I've learned that like it's definitely been like a factor in relationships, like as far as like I'm being like really bad at relationships. But at the same time, it's like now that I'm aware of that, when like there's certain things that happen, and in my brain I'm just like, run. And in my head I can be like, okay, maybe that's just like
a defense mechanism.
like a defense mechanism, and maybe I don't need to. I'm still definitely working on that part though, and it's like I've learned from like the past 2 years. It's like I've done some things and some parts of my life that like. Looking back now, I could be like, damn, that was kind of fucked up. And it's like a lot of that stuff I think I kind of learned from my mother. But at the same time, it's our responsibility to become the person that we want to become. Because at the end of the day, when you're like 40 years old or 50 years old and you accomplish something, they don't say, this is somebody's son. They say, this is him. He became this, not his mother turned him into this, his father turned him into this. They say that he became. It's what you become, not what you are. You know, so it's like if there's something about yourself that you know you have and you choose to just accept it, then you're the problem. Not it. Because it's not a there for life type deal. It's like if it's like an environmental thing or a developmental thing, then it's your job to get out of that environment or undevelop it or do something about it. So that's kind of like where I am right now in the undeveloping stage, like
Getting out of
Get-
old patterns.
getting
and,
out of old
like,
patterns and old ways of thinking, and like, like I guess like whenever I'd get like upset, the way that I get upset, and like just trying to like turn myself into like a person that I would want to be around,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Hmm.
like some like reverse psychology golden rule shit on myself.
You ever sounds like what's his name? David Goggins. You ever heard of him?
I have not.
He's a former Navy SEAL, but he says like kind of the same thing that you talked about. Basically, like when he grew up, he was like fat, lazy, smoked weed, but always wanted people to pay attention to him. Always wanted to be the person who wanted to. You got to go listen to a podcast or something of his. Really, really good stuff. But that's what what you were just saying reminded me of changing and transcending who you are, and becoming,
Oh, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You think you can never? What's the best way for me to ask this? I say transcendence. How often would you say like 'cause we change all the time, you know what I mean? Like how much would you say you've changed within or transcended yourself, your old self within the past like year or so?
I would say that like every 3 months, you're on your way to being a little bit of a different person every 3 months. Like if you were to like look in the mirror every 3 months, or like sit down with yourself for like an hour and like just like look at where your mindset is, what your goals are, what you're trying to do. Like generally, I feel like everybody changes kind of every 3 months, because that's enough time for like a lot of shit to happen. Because life goes on fast, and sure you might still have like the same job, but I mean like for the most part, people. I'd say 3 months.
3 months. I mean that is technically 4 times a year. But I think, do you think you have to completely let go of your old self and completely?
I mean, I wouldn't say it's even like a on purpose transcendence, or like they're trying to become a different person, or
You
that
think
they're
that's just
trying to let go. I think it's just like
The cycle of life kind of thing.
people get so distracted because every day that somebody wakes up, they wake up a little bit of a different person. Because it's like you realize, like, like when you go to sleep at night, you have all of this stuff on your mind that you want to do the next day. But that next morning, that mindset the night before only continues if you do what he wanted to do. But if you don't do what he wanted to do and you sleep in, then that mindset takes over. And you'll never get the other one back until you consciously make an effort to do it.
And then as you consciously make that effort, it becomes subconscious again.
As you consciously make it, it'll come back. But like what I'm saying is like when you went from that I'm going to get up early to I'm not going to get up early, like that was a change. That was a transcendence. It was a miniature one, but think about all the things that you could have done if you did get up early, and then you did it the next day and the next day, and like you started climbing up, but instead you went down. Like it was like a path and a road, but that path that started like in the bedroom and with the alarm clock, it was the easiest test to pass. All you had to do was stand up.
I like that, Jason. Like I said, man, because like you have so many crazy stuff to talk about, so many crazy experiences and stuff. But I was like, there's something like something core genius about the way you navigate and move through everything.
I just always think about the future. As crazy as that sounds, I mean, like not the future, like a year from now or 6 months from now or 2 years from now, but like the future, like 2 weeks from now. Like in my head, my thought process is as long as I can pay my bills and I know for a fact I have a way to get everything taken care of, I can be a dumbass. Not in like the type of dumbass that I would judge, but like the type of person that somebody that I would judge would call a dumbass.
That makes, I'm like 75% of the way there, making sense. Somebody who you would judge to call a dumbass. Oh, so kind of like just like a.
Make myself proud.
Ah.
I don't know.
Hmm.
It's like I'll go out and have fun as long as I don't feel like what I'm doing is setting me back on all the other sides. But at the same time, I do a lot of things that I know I'm not supposed to.
We all do. So yeah, that's not a thing of. That's not a personal thing, but that we all do that shit. Yeah, it's a long podcast, ain't it? You still waking up, bitch.
I'm still waking up.
Had the Dutch Bros and everything, couple biscuits and shit.
2 whole biscuits.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, shit, I'm okay with the podcast cutting off here. Shit, this is a good little podcast.
Yeah.
I like keep my podcast short and sweet, especially one like this, bro, because we got some good shit out there, dog. That was good talk.
We did.
Yeah.
Came to some conclusions.
Yes, sir. Do you want anybody to follow you on anything or any kind of?
Oh yeah. I mean, like, I guess if y'all wanna like follow me on Instagram or something, it's
I'll put it in the. I'll put it in the link. I'll put a link in the.
Yeah. Well, he said it.
Peace. I got you. All right. Till next time, don't forget to follow, like, and leave a comment about this podcast. Let us know about what you think about everything, just how you view life and everything. But until next time, it's been Caleb and Jason, and y'all be easy. And Jason, as always, be safe out there.
Be safe out there.
Y'all be good. Peace.